Hi everyone. In this class, we can go for the theorems on limit of a sequences. Whenever you are working on the theorems on a limit of a sequences, you definitely to remember and recall the what is the definition of a sequence and even though what is the definition of a limit of a sequence. Just I recall the definition of limit of a sequence. A sequence an or xn, it may a sequence an is said to be limit L for a given epsilon greater than 0, however small. There exists a positive real number or positive number m such that for every n greater than or equal to m, and it is denoted in such a way that modulus of an minus L is less than epsilon for every n greater than or equal to m, and symbolically denoted by limit n tends to infinity an equal to L. Okay, after the recapitulation of the definition of a limit of a sequence, to go for the theorems on limit of a sequence, the first theorem, theorem 3.1, prove that limit of a convergent sequence is unique. Prove that limit of a convergent sequence is unique. So this theorem on the convergent sequence. What do you mean by the convergent sequence? If it is sequence is said to be convergent, means it has a finite limit. So I will go for the proof of this theorem. To consider an be the sequence and it is converges to L. Let an be the convergent sequence, say it converges to L. Therefore, by the definition, limit n tends to infinity an equal to L, where L is a finite. If L is a finite, this is the only one limit for this convergent sequence. But theorem says that you have to show that it is unique. If it is unique means, suppose I taken two limits for this sequence an. So if possible, let L1 and L2 be the two limits of an. So our idea is to show that these L1 and L2 are not different, they are equal. Okay, I will go for the definition again by the convergent sequence. If L1 be the limit of a sequence, then immediately limit n tends to infinity an equal to L1, and if L2 be the limit of a sequence an, then we can say let limit n tends to infinity an equal to L2. Now recall the definition of limit for a given epsilon greater than 0. There exist two real numbers m1 and m2 such that modulus of an minus L1 is less than epsilon, or you may take as epsilon by 2 for every n greater than or equal to m1, and modulus of an minus L2 is less than epsilon by 2 for every n greater than or equal to m2. So now my idea is to show that L1 and L2 are equal. For that, consider modulus of L2 minus L1. So this is equal to modulus of L2 minus L1. This is equal to taken an plus an and minus an in the modulus extra. Now to make it splitting this one as modulus of an minus L1 and minus of an minus L2. Using the property of modulus, this is less than or equal to separate modulus or for the bracket mod of an minus L1 and mod of an minus L2. So by the definition, modulus of an minus L1 is nothing but the epsilon by 2, and also the modulus of an minus L2 is also epsilon by 2. Adding these two, we get a epsilon. So here we get, that is modulus of L2 minus L1 is less than epsilon. Already we know that epsilon is very small, and take epsilon equal to 0. Immediately we get modulus of L2 minus L1 equal to 0, or it may L2 minus L1 equal to 0, and it gives the L1 and L2 are equal. So we starting initially taken that L1 and L2 are different limits of the sequence convergent sequence an, but according to definition we go through this one, the L1 and L2 are not equal, those are same. So this completes the proof of the theorem that limit of a convergent sequence is unique. To go for the second theorem 3.2, limit, if limit n tends to infinity an equal to L, then prove that limit n tends to infinity modulus of an is equal to mod L. So for this, consider the proof. Given that limit n tends to infinity an equal to L, by definition, for a given epsilon greater than 0, there exists real number m such that modulus of an minus L is less than epsilon for every n greater than or equal to m. Now to consider modulus of mod of an minus mod L. Our idea is to show that this modulus of mod of an minus mod L is also less than epsilon. We know that mod x is less than x. Mod of mod x is less than mod x. Therefore, modulus of mod of an minus mod L is less than or equal to modulus of an minus L. But already it is obvious that modulus of an minus L is less than epsilon for every n greater than or equal to m. So, we get that modulus of mod of n minus mod of L is less than epsilon for every n greater than or equal to m. Again, recall the definition of limit. This gives limit of n tends to infinity mod of n equal to mod of L. So, this completes the proof of the second theorem. To go for the theorem number 3, prove that every convergent sequence is bounded. Our idea is to show that every convergent sequence is bounded. You know that convergent sequence means it has a finite limit. Suppose the sequence is said to be a bounded means there exist two real numbers small k and capital K such that n is in between small k and the capital K. So you have to remember this point. Convergent sequence means it has a finite limit. Bounded means there exist two real numbers k and k such that the n is in between k and k. By recalling these two things to go for the proof that every convergent sequence is bounded. Now to consider, let an be the convergent sequence and say it converges to L. Therefore, limit n tends to infinity an equal to L, where L is finite. By definition, this implies mod of an minus L is less than, where epsilon is small positive number greater than 0 for every n greater than or equal to m. What do you mean by modulus of an minus L is less than epsilon? That is, an is in between L minus epsilon and L plus epsilon. That I written L minus epsilon is less than an, it is less than L plus epsilon for every n greater than or equal to m. Keep and or call it, this is to be expression 1. Now take small k is the minimum of all the terms of the sequence a1, a2, a3, am minus 1 up to L minus epsilon and L plus epsilon, and capital K is the maximum of the same set a1, a2, a3, am minus 1, L minus epsilon and L plus epsilon. What does the expression 1 becomes? Then 1 becomes that small k is less than an, it is less than k, capital K, for every n greater than or equal to m. By definition of bounded sequence, it shows that sequence an is bounded. This completes the proof of the theorem. So